And usually I wake up at 7 to make everyone breakfast, but on this rare occasion, my wife was kind enough to let me remain in bed writhing in pain. At 9 a.m., I had 100 text messages. Usually I'll have maybe 4. I had 100 because it appears that I once again ruffled the feathers of our Kentucky Fried former president.
At first glance, it appears that Jimmy Kimmel has a crush on former President Donald Trump. However, it is possible that Trump is the one who has a crush on Kimmel. Kimmel has been having a field day with the former president, roasting him like a fattened lamb on all sides.
Apparently, with all that's going on, still smarting from my joke about him at the Oscars.
From his hush money trial to sex charges and even his terrible memory. Regardless of the circumstances, Kimmel has been having a field day over the former president. In this video, we are going to cover all of the cringe-worthy, face-palming, and incredibly humorous moments throughout the footage. First things first, Jimmy began his late-night show by expressing his satisfaction with the fact that the entire New York community was no longer merely monitoring Donald Trump's hush money cases, but was now actively participating in them.
I have to say today I am very excited, I am very proud, I'm exhilarated even, because we aren't just following the Donald Trump drama in New York, we are part of it now, of the official record of the people versus Donald Trump.
It is actually a poor jab on Jimmy's part to refer to the trial of Donald Trump as the people versus Donald Trump, rather than making reference to the hush money trials, which is what the trial is officially known for. It is possible that you will not see it, but it is a tribute to the fact that the trial of O.J. Simpson was officially dubbed the people versus O.J. Simpson. This was due to the fact that he committed a large number of crimes and the majority of the people was opposed to him. It is possible that this will not be brought to everyone's attention, but it is a surprise attack on Donald Trump and his crew. One thing is certain, after hearing that one, they will absolutely snicker. In addition, Jimmy mentioned that he had been present at the trial that involved Stormy Daniels because he had conducted an interview with her 6 years prior to the trial. According to the allegations, Stormy had been having an affair with Donald Trump. In a particular instance, Jimmy truly lambasted Trump, and he did so below the belt. On account of his romance with Stormy Daniels, an adult film star, Trump has been forced to defend himself in court against a 45-count allegation that has been brought against him. During an interview in 2018, Stormy was asked to choose a mushroom that would represent Donald Trump's you-know-what. Jimmy shared a tape of this interview with us. As we would see in the video that followed,
would most represent the Commander-in-Chief of the United States military.
Can you hold it up so it's coming at me at the correct angle?
Yes. They might fall off, though. Oh! Is this the one?
It's a nubbin! A what? It's a nubbin! It's a little nubbin!
the former president was undoubtedly affected by the fact that you shared that information once more at a moment like this. His temper tantrum is easily comparable to the one that a youngster would have if they had lost a lollipop. Jimmy continued by bringing up the fact that President Donald Trump has been found to be napping and occasionally dozing off in court on several occasions, despite the fact that he and his administration have consistently disputed the existence of this reality. Was he asleep or was he not sleeping at all?
Well, Jake, he appeared to be asleep, and repeatedly his head would fall down. This time he didn't pay attention to a note that his lawyer Todd Blanche passed him. His jaw kept falling on his chest.
On the other hand, a reporter for CNN stated the following during their coverage of the trial. Jimmy asserts that while President Trump was being tried, he would have been able to keep him awake. The fact that Trump would be required to remain silent for an extremely extended period of time in court was brought up by Jimmy. This would make it hard for him to engage in all of the talking that he would normally enjoy doing. Following the conclusion of his trial, the former president gave an interview in which he disclosed that he would not be able to attend any of his son's high school senior ceremonies. Jimmy was able to gather a great deal of information regarding that matter, and he even shared his opinion that it is quite likely that Trump was having an affair with his mother when Barron was just approximately 4 months old. The technique you have chosen to roast someone is truly creative and brilliant. Well, Jimmy is capable of doing it if anyone is. During the same interview, interview, he admitted that Trump's legal team was incompetent and that his followers were often even more incompetent than they were. During the conversation, Trump mentioned that he was unable to testify in court due to a gag order that was obtained against him. As a matter of fact, that is not how gag orders operate. In reality, the purpose of gag orders is to prevent witnesses from having any kind of interaction with defendant. There is no connection between this and the defendant's testifying.
He just doesn't want to, because if he does, he'll be eating little containers of creamed corn in prison. But a gag order has nothing to do with whether he can testify. Watch his lawyer here.
I'm not allowed to testify. I'm under a gag order. I guess. I can't even testify.
Jimmy was the one who found out about it, and as a result, we ended up with Trump eating creamed corn while he was incarcerated. Despite the fact that you must have also noticed the lawyer's reaction from the tape, Jimmy's comment on creamed corn is very humorous. This is due to the fact that the White House chefs have stated that corn is one of Trump's favorite dishes.
You just made it up. It's obviously he can testify. He just doesn't want to, because if he does, he'll be eating little containers of creamed corn in prison. But
the next thing that Jimmy did was pull a real snare on Trump. During the current courtroom hearing, the former president is required to remain seated in a specific location as his own attorneys read insulting posts that have been made against him. There is no doubt that the Trump team would have a difficult time enduring something like that. The following statement that Jimmy made is unquestionably a piece of comedy treasure. As soon as you watch the video in which Cohen first used the word Von Schitzenpants, you will realize that not being nicknamed Von Schitzenpants is not really a negative thing. At a rally held by Trump in Texas, the president appeared to be acting in a manner that was somewhat reminiscent of a young girl of 5 years old attempting to take it is simply one of those things that you have to witness for yourself. The phrase Von Schitzenpants was first brought to light by Cohen at this very moment. The roasting of Trump that Jimmy did was not specifically centered on just making a few verbal punches here and there. In the courtroom, he presented a sketch of Donald Trump. It was my expectation that everyone would be aware of what that phrase means, but if you aren't aware of it, he is referring to the fact that Trump is bloated, isn't he? Even though it was a tumultuous night at Jimmy Kimmel Live.
whether Trump has fallen asleep or not, one thing is for sure, the courtroom sketch artist hates him. She turned him into the hunchback of Notre Dame. Looks like his tongue is about to shoot out and get a fly on it.
The most bizarre aspect was how Trump responded to everything that was going on. As per his customary practice, his major point of contact would be his social media application, Truth Social, where he would vent his frustrations regarding his trial and how he does not merit the punishment he is receiving in court. To begin, the fact that Trump is venting his frustrations on a social media site that he himself developed is offensive. To a large extent, the application was developed for him and his fans. For one thing, there are not a lot of people who use the app, which indicates that he is not really communicating all of his ideas or thoughts to the appropriate audience. The second issue is that the majority of the time, his tweets do not provide a balanced perspective on the subject. This is because he always wants to focus on himself while he is speaking, and in some instances he throws tantrums. It has become one of Trump's theatrics to throw a social media tantrum every time he is called out. And unfortunately for him, everyone in the media is aware of this and works to use it against Jimmy as an example of one of those guys. Jimmy always finds a way to use Trump's own comments against him, and he does this consistently. Jimmy Trump continues to poke fun at Donald Trump by posting a video of him attempting to change his teleprompter. It's possible that Jimmy is mistaken, and it's also possible that Trump required the teleprompter in order to shield his face from the sun. Jimmy surely had a field day with that, regardless of the circumstances that may have been there. In case you were unaware, he stated that Trump does not have any people to give. It's possible that it has something to do with his sexual trial with Stormy, but the F word you're looking for isn't there, folks. I'm curious to know your thoughts on the current issue involving the Trump court. Are you of the opinion that Jimmy's comments and reactions are humorous, or do you believe that they are really necessary? Please leave a remark with your ideas, no matter what they may be.